Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils. In a nutshell, Noches de Sangre, Bloody Nights. GDM Games, and it's a game inspired by 30 Days of Nights, I guess is the name of the movie. Anyway, I never watched that movie. The story is really cool. The story is really thematically cool. So you are in a little village, and from end of November to end of December, it's always night. It's all up in Scandinavia, and it's always night 30 days in a row. It's a perfect place for bloodsuckers, for vampires. So, and there are a couple of villagers living in this little... Oh, yeah, that sounds familiar to another story. But anyway, there are a couple of villagers with this gray background. Up to 6. You deal out to each single player 1 villager at the start of the game. And they have simply the goal to survive. First of all, what you can see is their fight value, their escape value. They are different, as you can see. And you have a starting health and a starting blood value. Blood is a little bit of a health. I explain it in a second. And you have a secret ability here. Not secret, you have a starting ability here. So these are your characters. In addition, you deal out 2 mission cards to every player. You get 2 mission cards and you can decide what mission do you want to play. So this is a very easy mission, for an example, or not easy, but this means for each single of this type, whatever that is, I show it to you in a second, you get 2 victory points. For each of these symbols, you get 2 victory points as well. But there are some different ones, like this one here, for each of these 4 victory points. This means for each dead character. So you are not a traitor. It's a semi-coop game, but this means for every of your colleagues who died during the game, you get victory points at the end of the game, which is, yeah, could happen, right? Every character has now here his character sheet or his character tableau, and I accorded all of these cubes on here correctly. So, and now you have your days over here, a die in a reachable location for everybody, and you make a street here. You perform a street. Here is your normal street cards, here are your vampires, and here are your 4 special decks like hospital, church, school, and shop. The according vampires to the special locations are there. So what you're doing is, first of all, you have always 2 turns. So one is a search turn, the other one is a fight turn. During your first day, the search day, you reveal 5 cards here to perform a street. Whenever one of these event symbols occur, you immediately take the event, and you whatever that is, this with another. In this case, you have 2 survivors here. Now you have a location. This is a hospital. The icons are not pretty easy to see. This is a hospital, but believe me, it is a hospital. So you have additional equipment, and the last one would be another event. This event means here it's another event symbol, 4 additional days. So in this case, you would just adjacent this to 5. You would take another card. What you can do on your turn when it is, and you only has 1 action, with 1 action on your turn during the search day, it is, first of all, acquire 1 of these survivors as your friends. You have to pay the blood value, which means here, for an example, 1, you just pay 1 blood down here and acquire this as your friend. Then it's the next player. He has only the choice out of 4. You could also acquire 1 of these equipment cards. In this case, it would cost 3 here. So go down by 3, blah, and now you have option 3 is just rest. That means +2 on your blood and +1 for the escape roll next round. I explain it in a second what an escape roll is during the fight, but that's not so important. That's just if you don't want to take a card. Or what you can also do is search one of these locations. In this case, it's the hospital here. So there could be more, by the way, in the middle. When you search this hospital, there are still 3 cards left. You would take this card and these, put it in the discard pile here, and bring out 2 from the location of the hospital here. If there is, in this case here, another event, this event has an effect. Let's say everybody took his turn, then it comes into the fight phase, the second one. So you go on here on the second night, and now you have a fight phase. A fight phase, the active player, the starting player, must face this vampire. You just simply flip over the first vampire. He has a base attack value of 3. Now in turn order, the starting player must face the vampire. Each other player can decide to face or not and join or not. During the first 10 days of the game, it's just the base value. During the second 10 days, it's gray, it's +1, and during the black one, it's +2. Keep that in mind. So we are in the first phase, so you have a base strength of 3. Let's say you would face them in turn 17, you have a base value of 3 + 1 is 4. You multiply this value by all the still living characters. So that would be in the first round, 3 multiplied by 4 is a strength of 12. Again, it's a semi-coop game, so you have to exceed the strength, the 12 of this vampire. So everybody who's on team fight and not run away, running away is very easy and simple. So you take your own escape value like this, roll a die, add it to it, it's a 6, so this has a 6. And the escape value is 3. You have to exceed the escape value. So he is escaped. If he rolls lower, he must fight and face this vampire and be part of team fight. Everybody who's fighting, that's very easy. Everybody's rolling a die. If you roll a 1, that's a bad attack. You only take your base value from here, which is a 1. You cannot take your own survivors as another attackers. However, if you roll a 2, 3, or 4, if you roll a 1 or a 2, you have a bad attack. So if you roll a 3, 4, 5, it's good. You take your character and all the equipment and all the other survivors, they fight for you if there are survivors you have acquired over the course of the game. They are fighting for you like this. He's an attack value of 1, and if you equipped him with this one, he would have an attack value of 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus this one would be 5. However, it's only and only when you have rolled a 3, 4, or a 5. Whenever you roll a 6, that's a huge success. The huge success, or just critical hit, means just double the base value. In this case, you double the 2, it's a 4, and add all the other attack values on top of it. In this case, it would be a 2, a 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say she would attack an 8. He would be on top of it as well. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, if all of them are on the team. No else has a special weapon or equipment. So that was a long rules description. Let's talk about Bloody Nights. I wanted to say I really love the idea. I really like the feeling. The feeling is pretty strong, the thematically feeling in this game. So, and I really like it. It's not super easy to win the game, I have to say that. The vampires are strong, they are hungry for more blood, so it's not super easy to win the game, which I appreciate. I really appreciate. If that would be an automatic win every time, that would be boring. There are a couple of rules to make it even more harder or even make it simpler, but you should adjust it that you can only win, let's say, 50, 60, maybe 70%, but not 100% every single game. That wouldn't be fun at all. So when it comes to the nutshell of this game is, it's a quick card game. I really like the mechanics. I really like how it works. But drawing these characters, the ability of the character is not super strong. It's not. So even if this character has, for an example, every time you feed them, it's one less. But he starts with 19. There's another character like this one. He is starting with 24. There's also a character like this one. He's starting with 35. So 35 over 19 is a huge advantage. He can acquire so much good stuff, like this, for an example, which feeds one character for one round. Okay, there are a lot of feeding. 5 on here and 3 on here, so 8 feeding times. This is worth 8 blood drops because -1, but he could acquire this for 3, then it's worth 2. So he could do a lot of stuff, really a lot of stuff with his 35 starting. When he is in play and he has a good starting and he has his fighting value of 2 and she has only 1. So yeah, I would say they are for me a little bit unbalanced, and which is good and bad. What I'm saying next is, the next one is what I have to say. It comes in 4 different languages: Spanish, English, French, and German. But the translation is not good as it is. So the German translation, for an example, has for the mission cards, when you take a mission like this one here, this means each single survivor is worth 2 victory points. In the German it says just nothing. It says survivor, if you successfully make this mission, you get the victory points from the card, but it doesn't say it's multiplied by the number of survivors you have. So this character, when you have this secret mission, you wanted to try to get as much survivors as he can and bring them to your team, to your character. So let's say if you have 4, it's worth 8 victory points, which is a lot. But it doesn't say in the German rules. You have to figure out the English rules, and maybe they are wrong too, because this is a Spanish game. So I don't know which is correct and bad, because I don't know about Spanish rules. So I cannot read the Spanish rules. Maybe this is still wrong and the German translation is correct and the English one is incorrect. I assume not. But anyway, this is also another one which is a little bit of tricky. Also this helper card, this summary card, this is here in German, but there's also a searching day in English. It's really hard to read. The font they used for the card is really hard, so it's not easy. I would say they could definitely improve their skills in making better components and of course better rulebooks. However, the game itself is cool. There's a lot of fun, there's a lot of going on. It has enough meat on it to play it again and again. It has not a strong trader mechanic in it. Only when the one mission, if the other ones die, you get victory points. Then maybe you try always to escape and let one of these vampires kill your maybe not friends, but there's only 1 out of 12 cards, and only if you play with all the 6 characters and everybody get 2 mission cards. It's a 50-50 if the card is in or not. It's a 100% you can choose it, but it's a 50-50 if it's chosen or not. Anyway, so there is only a little tiny aspect of trader in it, which I really appreciate. It's more a co-op than a semi-coop for me. However, at the end of the day, there could be only one winner, but really winning the game is not the important part. Winning the game for me was always if I or one other of my team survives. If we all lost and get killed, that felt bad. Yeah, I have to say, even if it's a cruel rulebook and even if it's a strange theme, I loved and enjoyed it every time I played, and most of my playtesters as well. So it's the only down thing on that for me, it's just in between a filler and a real board game. It's a 30 to 45 minute game, which is pretty accurate. I would say 35 minutes is a good playing time. There are enough numbers. You have 15 fights, except for you have these cards, and they will show up so a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times during the game. So you will have probably yeah, let's say sometimes 11 fights, things like that. So it's and you can play it pretty fast because you only have one action and then it goes back and forth, but it's pretty hard to win. So it's not super easy to find a perfect group for Bloody Nights. But again, my conclusion is, please try it out. For me, it's a really good game. It will stay on my shelf for a longer time, I'm pretty sure, and I will bring it always out if I find the real group. It's not a expert game or hardcore gamer game. It's more a partyish game plus. So it's a little bit more than, of course, Codenames. Everybody can play. So you need a little bit of experienced player, but it's either a good filler or end of the game, or it's a good it's a experience variant of a gateway game, whatever you prefer to say it, for Bloody Nights or Noches de Sangre. That was another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele durchgespielt. My name is Nils. See you next time. Until then, bye bye.